Hello, hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Arena, and I'm a Christian relationship coach. And on today's video, I wanted to address and talk about why do we attract narcissistic, manipulative, abusive people into our life. And if you are new here, I help people restore themselves, heal their traumas after a relationship, or maybe even go further back. It's their traumas from their childhood, and really through healing all of those traumas, step into a new version of themselves, a version that is more elevated, more confident, has a higher self-esteem, and all of these past experiences are not dragging them down anymore, where they feel like they are more in control because they are firm in their identity. They are firm in who they are. They have goals, they have dreams, and they don't let people or circumstances stand in their way, and really enjoy this life in its full potential, in its full glory, because it's a beautiful life to live in. So I do offer one-on-one coaching if that's something you are interested in. And let's dive into this video for today. Why do we attract these kind of people into our life? What is it that we're doing? What is this all about? And why is this happening to you, right? This may be something that you are asking yourself. So, there are three reasons why narcissistic abusers or manipulators come into our life. And later on in the video, I will go a little bit more in depth what these people are doing in our life. So maybe you're not aware of the word narcissist, but another word to use for it will be an abuser or a manipulator, a person that is faking really who they are, and they're actually very abusive, and it could be not necessarily physical abuse, but it is a lot of emotional abuse. So the three reasons why these type of people come into your life, it's to teach you something, to test you, and to elevate you into a new season of your life. So let's dive into it. What does this mean? So these kind of people come into your life to teach you. They come to teach you two things: to stand up for yourself and to speak up for yourself. So if you are a very kind, nice person, you have a hard time saying no to people. If you would rather avoid conflict, and so you tend to not speak up, right? And you don't really maybe speak up about your wants and your needs. And so therefore it leads you into feeling like you're being taken advantage of, or you're being taken for granted, right? So that means that there are some areas in your life that can be worked on. That means there is some room for growth. So these people teach you, going back again, to speak up and to stand up for yourself. So standing up for yourself means communicating, and you communicate about your boundaries. You say, hey, this is not okay with me. I don't like the way this makes me feel. I am not okay with this, right? So you're speaking up, and then you're speaking up about what it is that you're not comfortable with. So these two things are actually your tools. And until you learn to manage these things, to use these tools, you will keep getting tested. And that's step two, is being tested. So until you learn to communicate and until you learn to set boundaries, these kind of people will be in your life. And that can look like, it can start off with family members, then it can lead to friends, and then your partners, even people like your boss or your employee. All of these people are showing you, hey, you need to start standing up for yourself. Um, so until you learn to do these two things, these tests will keep coming up. So what is it that it's testing you? When you are a child, you are kind of being placed without, um, not your knowledge, but you are just being placed without your choice, right? Like your parents are who they are, your siblings are who they are, even your friends are kind of like they're either people in your neighborhood or they're your classmates, right? You don't really have a choice who lives by you or who is your classmate, right? Like that's something that's done to you without a choice. But when you get older, then you get to decide, hey, do I want these people around or I don't like the way they're making me feel. They make me feel triggered. They make me feel frustrated. They make me feel like I'm overgiving, right? And this goes, once again, family members, friends, partnerships, friendships that you are using, your bosses, right? All of that. Some people stay in a job that they don't hate, but that they hate because it pays the money, but you feel like your boss is over giving you work, like you are not getting paid enough for the job that you are doing, right? So all of these areas in your life means that you need to start standing up for yourself. So, and the moment you emotionally, intellectually begin to take control of your life is when these tests will become easier, right? It's because you are choosing to take control of your life. You are choosing to say, hey, this friend is not for me, this person is not for me, and you begin to control who you do and do not want in your life. So if you've had emotionally intelligent, healthy parents, then they taught you this at an early stage. They taught you to stand up for yourself, to where you stand up to bullies, you don't get bullied, right? And if maybe you cried a lot or you were like very emotional, they gave you that safety. They made you feel safe in your emotions. Kind of like if you were frustrated, they had a very decent conversation with you. They said things like, hey, like what's making you upset? Why are you crying right now? And how can I help you? How can we fix this, right? So that would be an emotionally intelligent parent. They helped you guide your emotions to get you out of hurt, out of pain, out of anger, and into a more balanced, stabilized emotion. And without hurting the other person and without hurting yourself, you solve your own problem, right? Instead of going and hurting the other boy, right? Or instead of shutting down and not really talking about your emotions, you had a household where you were okay with speaking about your emotions and they got processed. But if that was not the case for you, if you feel like you didn't have that kind of household, right? And now you are responsible for handling your own emotions and now you get to decide like how will I handle this? And these tests will keep these kind of people by tests, I mean these type of people will keep coming into your life until you take control of your life and you say, you know what, I'm going to stand up for yourself. You know what, I'm going to put a boundary. You know what, I'm going to detach from this person. So in your adulthood, you get to learn what you didn't learn in your childhood because this is kind of like one on one for survival in life. It's kind of like in order to get your needs met, your emotional needs met, you need to be in control of who gets to do what in your life. And this is where you kind of have to come to a realization that no one will do this for you. It's something you have to do on your own. And the examples that I love to give is kind of like food analogies or being in the best physical shape, right? Like nobody can lose the weight for you. Only you can lose the weight. Like a trainer can train you, a coach can tell you what to do. But unless you do that, unless you cut things out of your life and you start replacing them for more healthy options, nothing will change in your life, no matter how much money you're paying to the coach, no matter, like what kind of gym you go to, right? It doesn't matter the more better the gym, the more you will lose the weight. No, that's not the way it works. It works by you putting in the work. So same thing works in relationships and same thing works in mindset. Until you begin to shift something in your mind, these tests will begin to fade away in your life. Okay. And another thing I wanted to point out that um, Sometimes when you don't love yourself the way you need to, when you don't respect yourself, when you don't protect yourself, you kind of expect others to do it. And we're going to dive into that. Like, what does that look like? And you kind of expect other people to be taking care of you. And this is where codependency kicks in. Like your parents took care of you. And so you kind of have the mentality, oh, they're responsible for taking care of me. And then that codependency leads from parents to then your partner, to then maybe your friends. And so you feel like everybody controls your life. You ask for their opinion. You can't really make your own decision. You feel like everybody's kind of smarter than you, like you feel your parents are smarter than you, your partner is smarter than you, your friends, and so you always go to people to get your problems solved, right? So you kind of have the mentality of codependency. But if that codependency is like a magnet for manipulators, it's a magnet for abusers because they can smell that. They can smell that you are not a very independent person and that you need them in your life. So once they get you, they take advantage of that. They start taking advantage of you because you are codependent. And the moment you choose to become emotionally independent is when you will begin to repel abusers and manipulators in your life. The second thing is people pleasing and kind of like the good girl syndrome, right? You are afraid of hurting people's feelings. You are afraid of saying no to people. Again, this is the perfect magnet for abusers and manipulators because right away they can tell that you can't say no to them, that you need them, that you love them, you can't live without them. And again, they begin to take advantage of you. But the more you please others, the more you neglect yourself. And the more you neglect yourself, the more damage you are doing, and the more you're going to stay in these toxic environments. And the third one is struggling emotionally or mentally, is when you take everything too hard, when you overthink a lot, when you're anxious very often. So it kind of shows like instability in your own choices. You're not very confident because you struggle to make your own choices, your own opinions, and keep your opinion, and stand by your opinion. And so this is where we're lacking a little bit of confidence. But all of this can be fixed. All of this can change. And and this is why you get tested. And if you are on a healing journey, if you are on a journey of self-development, this will show, hey, do you really want a new type of life? Or you're just saying you want that. Or you're just saying you want to be different. Because it's not gonna come from other sources. It's gonna come from within you. The moment you detach, the moment you say no to other people, that is when the test will begin to change. Um, so the test is to show it's in order for changes to start happening in your life, you want to start choosing healthy, right? And healthy, maybe you're struggling mentally choosing like healthier options. Maybe you struggle with negative self-talk, a lot of negativity, you have a lot of shame, guilt, like that type of inner voice. So start doing external things that are healthy. For example, start exercising, start prioritizing your sleep, start eating healthier, drinking a lot of water, because all of those things are in your control. So maybe you can't really leave the toxic environments that you're in, but that's out of your control, right? But you can control what you eat. You can control how you sleep. You can control whether you stay active or not. You can control if you binge watch, like Netflix, or do you choose to read a book, right? Like all of that is in your control, and that is the test. Will you keep choosing these negative, toxic things, or will you start choosing something else? And when you start choosing a healthier lifestyle, this is when emotionally and mentally things begin to change, and then your relationships begin to change as well. So um, loving yourself is is not selfish. It's actually very positive to choose self-love. And what I mean by self-love, I mean respecting yourself, protecting yourself, and knowing that you are valuable. And this starts with choosing or replacing things in your life. For example, if all of your friends go out and they drink, start replacing them with more healthier. Maybe there's a friend that goes to the gym with you, and then maybe you have a friend that you can go to church with, right? So start replacing all of these things in your life. Start replacing binge watching, Netflix to more of like podcasts and self-growth type of content, right? Instead of what you're eating is not healthy, like snacks, unhealthy snacks, start replacing them with fruits and berries and nuts. So it's hard to take something away and not put something in return. If we think about God, what he does is he takes your sin away, but then he replaces it with something else. For example, he takes away fear and gives you faith. He takes away shame and gives you confidence. He takes away guilt and anxiety and gives you peace and hope and joy, right? So everything is a replacement, and God works in this way too. So start replacing all of these unhealthy environments, unhealthy choices for more healthy ones. And the next one is, so if you start passing all of these tests, the third thing begins to happen is you begin elevating and moving into a new season, a better, higher version of you, and a better season in your life. So uh, your new version needs to start thinking differently, right? And this is where it all starts. It begins with you making new choices, you thinking differently will then begin to change your physical reality as well, right? And this is where your life will begin to elevate and move into a better season. You cannot have a new life with the old mindset. So the new version doesn't keep narcissists and abusers around. As soon as they see who they are, they see the red flags, they begin to detach from these friends, from these partners. They create distance or completely turn away from these people. So this is you. When you start making healthier options, then you will begin to start making healthier choices with your friends as well. Because your mindset is beginning to change. And as your mindset is changing, so is your environment around you. And this is where you really have to start choosing quality versus quantity. What's not good for you? It's not whatever is not good for you is not going to be in your life. When you choose a healthy lifestyle like God, exercising, eating healthy, it starts to bleed into your relationships. So, um, So, and another, when you begin to elevate your life, like these tests will still try to come into your life. Like a woman of God can still be deceived, right? Because the enemy never sleeps. And this is where your relationship with God will also need to elevate to a next level, where as you are progressing, your mindset is becoming more aware, more mature, so do the tests. The tests also become a little bit more harder. And this is where you want to build even a stronger relationship with God, because you will begin to see red flags faster. You will begin to see manipulation faster, and then therefore you detach faster from these people. And so once again, we're going to go back to step two, and that's the test until you learn the lesson, right? And until it teaches you something and you move on from it quickly. So but if you ignore the red flags, you will pay a great price for it. This is why a lot of people stay in the testing season for so long, because they're not really changing their mindset. They're not really making the healthier choices. And so a lot of people get stuck in the testing season of their life. Another a great indicator of your life is, do you have a love and hate relationship with people? Do you feel like you love them at the same time you hate them, right? But what you want is kind of stability. You want someone, yes, they may like piss you off every like once in a while, but then you can get back, on track with them. You can have a conversation with them and they can apologize or you can apologize and then it can get, more stable again. But if it's constantly going through these roller coasters where they're love bombing you, but then they're gaslighting you. You feel like they love you one day and then they hate you the next day, right? So this is gonna keep you stuck in the teaching stage and in the testing stage. Um, and another and final reason that I want to talk about is when these kind of people come into your life, it's showing you that you have emotional wounds and emotional traumas. And the more you go through these tests, the more not just go through the test, but you actually learn and you change something in your life. You're like, you know what? Instead of the test is not um, staying with the same person. The test isn't actually leaving these environments. So, can you actually leave these environments? Can you leave from the toxic partner? Can you leave from an abuser? Can you leave that friend? Can you set a boundary? That is how you will pass the test. And you will begin to regulate your emotions a lot. And one good indicator is that life is challenging you is if you feel a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of fears, and a lot of tears. Are you crying a lot? Like you feel like you are easily triggered, you are easily offended. These are all indicators that you have abusive people in your life and that you are neglecting yourself and that there is some room for growth and life is just challenging you. It wants you to go to the next level, into the next season of your life, but you can't go there until you detach and let go of some of these people in your life and you heal these wounds and then you go into the next season of your life as a new version of yourself. So, if that is something that you are struggling with, you are going through, I would love to get in contact with you. Um, and I hope this video was helpful for you. It would brought you a lot of awareness, and maybe now you know where you stand and you are aware what areas of your life you should be working on. And, I want to see all of us be in healthy environments, be in healthy relationships, and really thriving in this life because we were meant to live this life abundantly with love and with joy. We are not meant to live in constant suffering, right? So I hope this video blesses you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.